So this happened to me today. Alright, what is up, Transformer fans? This is the video review of Transformers Prime First Edition Deluxe Class Cliffjumper, and this is kind of a throwback because I'm kind of getting into Prime again, and I had this guy in my closet. I've had him for I don't know how many years, just sitting there in his box, basically waiting just to determine a good time if I was going to sell him, if I was going to open him. But I decided to open him, and I am really impressed with the figure. Just, kind of getting a blast from the past, knowing, the first edition and all the history with it. So, anyway, he is a 70s looking muscle car. Definitely a Dodge Challenger looking vehicle with the 4 headlights there. Definitely looking really, really cool. And that's what I liked about Prime, is all the really unique and cool designs. You can see really old school side exhaust and the 5-spoke wheels, and he's got like the Texas cow horns on the hood, cow bull, my bad. He's got little silver Autobot symbols on the side. Oh, you couldn't even see that. Little silver Autobot symbols on the side here, right there, so that's really cool. Only on one side, actually. The other one is unpainted, which is weird. I wonder if that's supposed to be like that. There's an indentation there, but there's not a painted Autobot symbol on that side. That's weird. Anyway, he's got some other exhaust pipes molded in the back here. So he has more than just the 2. Okay. That's something else I just now noticed. Underneath here, you can kind of clearly see how he transforms. Everything does tab together pretty solidly. He does have this nice translucent windshield and windows everywhere. It's a really dark blue, so you get the look of the car, and the headlights are that dark blue as well. You get the nice look of the car, but you don't see in too much through all the robot junk unless you hit it just right with the light. Then you can see through it. But other than that, like there, you can't really see. It just looks really cool. So yeah, vehicle mode is awesome. He rolls really well. So that's that. So. Pretty minimal design, but looks really sharp. A really nice red sports car, red muscle car. Just he looks really cool. So, comparing him with his buddy First Edition Bumblebee, you can see he's definitely smaller. He's lower to the ground. He's longer, I believe. Yeah, he's a tad bit longer, but he's definitely shorter to the ground. And he's not as wide as Bumblebee, which is kind of interesting, because usually these 70s cars were huge. So, anyway, that's vehicle mode. So let's transform him and see how that is. So his transformation is really cool, and I think you'll enjoy the way all the panels fold up. So what you want to do first is come under here, and you want to untab the whole side of the car, basically, from the rear of the door all the way to the front. Kind of untabs right there and pulls out. So you've got that. Now what you can do is take the hood and the grill section, everything, and it actually kind of folds up like so. So you can just kind of get it out of the way. So it folds up like that. Then what you want to do is take the legs, and they come, actually the sides of the panel right here, they rotate up and over, which does the same thing on the other side, up and over. So now you've got them down like this. So then what you want to do is take this knee joint here, and it accordion folds down in line with the leg. So you accordion fold the whole knee bit down like that. Then you come here, and there's a little piece of the window that you just want to fold down inside there. Take the foot, flip it out on both sides, so it just kind of angles out. Then you take this bottom half of the door, and it wraps up and around and locks in a couple places and tabs together, and there you have his legs done. You can just kind of stand him up like so. Then what you want to do is you want to take this little piece here and click it down all the way. Lower this a bit, tilt this back, rotate. Of course, now a lot of stuff's going to be rotating and moving, so just kind of get stuff out of the way. Rotate this around, and you can tilt it back up like so. Now we need to handle the arms. So what you want to do is untab the sides of the rear, and then take the rear bumper, and the accordion folds up like so. So there you see what the bumper did. Then you want to take the arms, and they flip all the way out like that. You can close up these panels over the back. Then what you want to do is, this is really tricky, and you have to be very careful here because there's a lot of translucent plastic that's tabbing into each other. So you just got to be wary. So these untab like so, like that. Then you can bring these arms down to the side. Rotate and bring these arms down to the side. Like that. Then his head comes up from underneath there. You just kind of lift it up. And then you're going to want to just kind of fidget all this stuff and turn these around and get this out of the way, because you're about to do some really neat stuff with this whole thing back here. Okay, now this is a very special what happens back here. So these little two pieces rotate and fold away. So they rotate up under there. And you want to disconnect the headlights, and they are on one hinge. They swing together, so be aware of that. Take the front grille, and it kind of angles up like so, and then you'll wiggle this loose, and like I said, these are on one hinge. The headlights swing together. So you want to take this backpack, and you kind of feed the headlights through to where they come up here to the front, while also pegging. You'll see that little peg goes into the back of the plate where his head sits, and you'll just kind of straighten all that out, kind of fiddle with it. Then you'll take this little piece right here and flip it up a notch. Kind of make sure all this is sitting right. Make sure his chest is splayed open a bit. Straighten him up. And there you have first edition Cliffjumper in his robot mode. So here in robot mode, you can really see that vehicle mode looked good, but robot mode looks a whole lot better. He ends up looking so much like his show iteration. It's just really, really cool. They managed the transformation pretty well with the least amount of kibble, I think, possible. If you turn him around here on the back, I mean, he's got a little bit of a gap right here in his torso, which, honestly, unless you're looking, you know, you can stare right through him. But if you're looking underneath his armpit, I mean, you're bound to see something. But because of the way all of this folds up, you know, from the back he looks solid, from the front he looks solid, and, you know, the only real hollow bit is right there. But if you look at the way everything folds up and really compresses and just makes this guy look awesome, the only big piece of kibble you're seeing is the back piece of the arms right here. And I really don't think there was any way they could have gotten around that, to be honest with you. He just looks really cool. He is a really nice shiny red color. The head sculpt is outstanding. Let me get him on his knees down here so we can take a peek at it. So, the head sculpt is just outstanding. Just fantastic. Just very, very nice, very clean, very Cliffjumper. He just looks great. So, he honestly, he has a good bit of light piping, which I can't really replicate because my light is in front of him, but he does light pipe pretty well. But yeah, he looks awesome in robot mode, and he really looks good with the rest of Team Prime if I had them, but the only people I have right now are Bumblebee, so he looks good standing next to Bumblebee. In the one episode where they stood next to each other, they were about the same height, and that's about the case here. They are about the same height, whereas Bumblebee's a little bit, lankier. Cliffjumper seems a bit more filled out and just buff, so they really nail the proportions. He just looks good, and I am pretty happy with how he turned out. So his posability is decent for a deluxe. He has head rotation about there to there, and then he can kind of look up, but it tends to want to spring back down. So very limited head articulation. But the shoulders are fully ball jointed with a cut right there, so you can swivel the arms. I don't want to tear up too much of his ball joints because he is a first edition, but his arms can swivel all the way around, and they can lift up to the side like so. You get a full rotation here at the upper arm kind of shoulder bit, and then a double elbow bend, right? Nothing at the waist due to the way he transforms, but a ball jointed hip with a thigh swivel. You can kind of see it in there, and it cuts out to the side. And then you get about a 90-degree knee bend, a little bit less than 90 degrees, but you get a good knee bend. The feet are also, you have some ankle tilt due to the way that he transforms, so you can kind of play around with the feet, and they can also like tilt down. So the feet are pretty articulated as well. And if you're wanting to stand him, all you really have to do is fiddle with him a bit, and he looks really natural standing. So there's his posability. Now, weapons-wise, he doesn't come with any, which is kind of neat, seeing how, for the past how many years Transformers have always come with an accessory, but his are built in, which is kind of neat because that's the way it is in the show. Their weapons are all built in until the later seasons when they find all the MacGuffin weapons. So what you do is you unfold that little piece right here, twist his hand, and then flip out that, and there's his blaster, his little tri-barrel blaster. They're just built into his arm. And it's really cool and totally how it works in the show. He just transforms his hands and these little guns come out, which I think is awesome. That in the show they don't have any weapons they carry around at the beginning, and he doesn't have any weapons he carries around. They're all built in, which is cool. So, there's that. And he calls them the Horns, apparently. Okay. But, yeah, he's got his guns built in, and that is really cool. He definitely can pull off some really neat poses with them, firing away at the Decepticons before he gets blowed to bits and a hole punch through him like, Starscream's gonna walk up in here and be like, "Oh, Cliffjumper, I'm gonna kill you." And, yeah, Bradley, I need you to do the voice of Starscream. So, yeah, that was just silly. But anyway, he is definitely a cool figure, and I'm a big fan of him. I've always liked Cliffjumper. He had a cool role in Prime. He got killed off in the first episode, which, but he came back, and I always liked his character, and I think this toy is a fantastic representation of him. So, there's that. Definitely really cool. Definitely something to pick up if you can find him. I found him at retail, and I was really lucky to find him at retail. And yeah, so definitely I recommend. So thanks for viewing this video, and goodbye.
Die, Autobot.
Alright, what is up, everybody? This is the